Yesterday the students got an introduction into the motion sensors, and since it can be kind of hard to study position versus time, we decided to let the students use their bodies to get a sense of this concept. So we set the motion sensors up on the edge of the table, and we had the students stand away from the motion detector, and as I started recording data, the students had to walk up towards the motion detector, and then we studied the trend of that graph. The students said it looked like a snow hill, and so the students then had to think about what generated that graph. So that means she started walking. What does this little flat line right here represent?
Stopped.
So she stopped. So before we actually did the reverse, I had the students think about what the graph would look like if they started towards the motion detector and walked away. The students kind of thought through the concept of, well, if I was started away from the motion detector and walked towards it, and my graph looked like started at a hill and then went down, if I reversed what I'm doing, I think my graph will look in reverse. And they ran through the experiments, and the students were really excited to see that their graph mimicked their prediction. So this little portion right here, so was she moving in this little portion right here?
No, she was just standing there because it's flat across.
Yeah.
So like you're walking like bumpy stuff, then you get to a flat part, and then you start walking.
And then what happens here? So it starts decreasing again. What's happening here?
I'm walking.
She walked again.
All right, she started walking towards the motion detector. So the students got to be able to kind of have like a first-hand experience of what motions were producing what graphs. And so after that, I told them just to start thinking of different things that they could do and test it. So the students wanted to know what would happen if I started skipping towards the motion detector, or what if I jumped and bunny hopped towards the motion detector, what if I waved my arms like an octopus as I ran towards the motion detector or ran away from it, or if I walked and then stopped and then ran. Since we didn't actually explore velocity, the profile of the graphs looked very similar. If you started away from the motion detector and you were running and then you started skipping, it still was that nice decrease of you coming towards the motion detector. But since we didn't get into velocity, we couldn't actually talk more about how the velocity graph changed, or more of like the subtleties of the slopes of the graph within the motion detectors. But it was still just a nice introduction into motion.